got a few things to go over in this basic editing video. The first thing I want to show you is how to restart your computer, because some of you seem confused with the new Windows 10. You're going to take your cursor and go all the way down to this corner where the little Windows is showing. Click it once. If you go up, right above the Windows is the power button. If you click that, you get to restart. But that's how you will do it when you need to restart in class. The next thing I want to go over is the difference between backspace and delete. Most of you are in the habit of using the backspace button. Backspace button is usually located over here on the keyboard, and it either says backspace or it has an arrow. Near the backspace is a button called delete, which most of you seem to ignore using. Delete is also useful, and I'm going to show you in a minute what each does. Delete is located slightly to the right and a little bit down from the backspace. And I'm going to put my cursor right here by the word swimming. When I push the backspace, notice how it goes towards the left and it deletes words that are over towards the left. Now we're going back to swimming again. When I push delete, it moves the cursor to the right and deletes words going forward. So backspace does just what it says it's going to do. Go back. Delete moves forward. It's important you know the difference, because sometimes it's more appropriate to delete than it is to use backspace. Another thing people seem to have trouble with is the quick access toolbar. This little set of tools up here is your quick access toolbar. You can add to it, and we'll learn that at a later date. But this right over here is a save. When they say to save on the quick access toolbar, they're just telling you to go up to this corner and click save. It's the same as going to file and clicking save here, only it's just a quick little thing to do. You also have on here a redo and an undo. So let's say you're typing and you decide you want to delete a whole bunch of stuff, and then you realize you did not want to delete it. Or you make a mistake, you change something you didn't want to change. You can go up here to undo, and it'll undo whatever you have done. This doesn't work if you have already closed the document and reopened it. It can't go back to what you did yesterday. Redo is if you change your mind and want to put it back. Each one of these words up here that is highlighting when I mouse over is called a tab. In the tab you have groups. So we have a view tab with views as a group. We have page movement. We have show. We have zoom. We have window. All those are groups. So this would be one group here. We've got another group here. Show. Each one of those are groups. The words at the top are the tabs. So if I ask you to open the home tab, you need to go to home and click it. If I tell you to open the view tab, you go to view and click it. If I tell you to go to the zoom group, it's going to be this group right here. And you're going to need to use one of the tools within that group. Right now I want to show you. We default to print layout. Print layout should show you the document the way it's supposed to look when you print it. There's a read mode. That's usually what it defaults to. And it makes it look more like a book. A web layout would make it look like a web page. Outline, put your story in an outline. I'm going to switch to a different document so you can get a better idea what an outline does. So I've opened up a template for a newsletter. We go into the View tab, and when I go to Outline, notice how it's just words in here, and it doesn't show any of the pictures. It's a good tool for editing, and you can set up different levels. If you had to make an outline, for a class, that might be a good way to make your outline. If you have more than one page, you can do side by side. It'll put two pages together. I generally use the rulers. I like the rulers because it helps me to do other things such as set margins. Okay, you have a thumbnail, which will show you all your pages. You also have, we're going to use the zoom group, go to 100%, so now we can see the whole page. You can also go to zoom here and you can make it bigger for those of you who have difficulty seeing your document. You can go here and type in a percentage, say 150%. And all of a sudden, it makes your print bigger without having to actually adjust your font size, which you're not allowed to do on your projects. What is most useful is if you are editing one document against another, is to do the view side by side. Whatever document we want to see, if we have more than one open, and it'll put the documents literally side by side. It also has a thing where it synchronizes so that when you scroll down in one, it scrolls the other one down as well. It's useful if you're trying to compare two documents. Now we need to go over a few terms, so let's get in a document that we can look at and go over a few terms. If you notice, when I move my mouse over the document, it takes on the shape of an eye. That's your I-beam. So that when it looks like an eye when it's on your document, that is an I-beam. When you click somewhere in your document, it becomes a flashing cursor. That's your insertion point. If you're being told to put your insertion point after, say, the third paragraph, you would count 1, 2, 3 down, go to the end of the third paragraph, move your I-beam there, and click to get your insertion point there. There's another thing I want you to understand. There's a multi-select property. You need to hold the control key down. If you hold the control key down when you are highlighting words, it lets you pick separate words. Then you can go and change different things about those words. To do this, to use the multi-select tool, you put your cursor, you highlight your first word, and then you hold the control key down, move your cursor to where you want to highlight again, and highlight the different words while you're holding the control key down. Then you can do what you want to just those words. Do not forget to do your homework. The multi-select tool is probably going to be your biggest thing that you need to use. Remember the difference between delete and backspace. One more thing before we go. So you can use the navigation pane to also find and replace, besides letting you toggle between, if you have multiple pages, an easy way to go to the pages or the different headings if you use headings. This will become more important when I actually show you how to use headings.